as I'm getting ready to graduate high school and as I'm doing this project, I'm starting to look back on where I came from, just how I got to be the person I am today. And as a writer, I think it really started to develop my academically writing skills around 6th grade. And before that, in elementary, I was more of a creative writer, to the fact that I would actually write a lot in my free time, and I enjoyed writing. I wrote these random stories, and I even once tried to write a book. Didn't work out so well. In 1st grade, I actually went to a summer program at Mercer for writing, which was a lot of fun. I was able to really develop, and even got one of my poems that I wrote there and published in one of their books. But as I went into middle school, I started having to write more for school, and I looked more for research, and I think that's where my ability as a writer, as I started doing research, I found that my shift went from more of the writing to more of a math and science kind of point of view, and I started wanting more factual stuff, and I went away from my creativity of a writer, and I went into more, here's the facts, here's my research paper kind of grade, and I didn't just write for fun as I used to. I didn't spend hours on end just writing what came to my mind. I went and looked up facts, and I just wrote research paper after research paper that the school wanted me to do, and I stuck to that very strict outline that they gave us of the introduction, conclusion, 3 body paragraphs, which we still do today, but sometimes we get away from it, especially in the AP classes, and we'll get to that now, actually. And when I went to high school, that kind of changed. Not all the time. Most of the time I actually still wrote to that. But with the research papers in high school, I was in more AP classes, so I had to write more on a college level. I had to go away from that strict format and start writing 10 paragraphs a day. Not a day, per paper. But still, it was weird, and it took a while to adjust to, but I eventually got into writing like that, and just kind of going outside of my comfort zone in writing. And within human geography was my first paper actually for high school, and I remember writing The World is Flat. Not a boring book, but as a writer, it was something I enjoyed doing actually, because it was straight facts. Here's the facts. Here's my proof. As we do now, we use quotes and whatnot, and that started to develop around, again, 9th grade, freshman year, getting used to high school, going into these college classes. And I think, though, as I went through high school, I started to get ready more for my college. As I went to focus on a career within math and science, my abilities as a writer actually declined probably between my actual junior and senior year. I feel like my writings from the end of my junior year were a lot better than my writings at the beginning of senior year. And I saw that with my grade reflecting, but I tried to improve on it, and I think I did a decent job. I started to get my introductions and conclusions to be a lot better than what they used to be. I started trying to find more facts. I think my major problem was and during this year we read a lot of Shakespearean books, and then we had Waiting on Godot, which was just complete nonsense. It took me a little bit to kind of comprehend what I was about to write about. And until I was able to do that, I really had a problem trying to figure out what I was just going to say. And then when I did have an idea, it took me, especially this year, it took me a while to just get my thoughts into words. And that made my papers not as good as they should have been. Left a lot of things undone and unfinished. A lot of my works. Some of my papers for school could have been a lot better than what they should have been. Still, looking back, I wouldn't want to go back to how I used to write. I like how my writing skills are now. It's because I'm getting ready to go to college, and I think what I'm doing now is more preparing me for college compared to the creative writing that I used to do when I was younger. I mean, back then, the children are the ones who are the creative ones, and as we grow old, we kind of lose that creativity. I think that's been really reflective in me as a writer, and now and then I read over some of my old stories and get a good laugh at how bad of a writer I really was, and read over now, and just the comparison is very night and day difference. One my stories is in first grade. I wrote about a laptop that came to life. Now as a senior, I'm writing about the useless conversations in Waiting on Godot, and it's just very different. But I think how I am now as a writer is just going to get me ready for college and my future